Hello and welcome to my training. My name is Chuck Holmes. I'm a network marketing professional. Today, I want to share some stats of top MLM earners. Now, I was fortunate to go to the Mastermind event, which was put on by Big Al and Art Jonak, and I believe this is 2015. So it's been about 8 years now from the time of making this video. Now, one thing they did at that event is they brought up a bunch of high six and some seven-figure earners on stage. I think there was somewhere between like 8 and 10 people, give or take. And they asked them a series of questions, really 3 questions that stand out. And you can see those right here. The 3 questions that they asked were, how long have you been with your company? How many people have you personally sponsored during that time? And what percentage of those people produce 80 to 90% or most of your income? So those were the 3 questions. Now, I thought the questions were pretty interesting, but the answers to those questions is really what blew my mind. Now, at the time of attending this event, I had been in the industry about 13 years, but I was really right on the threshold of transitioning from amateur to network marketing professional. I had been very serious about my business for about a year before that event is when I really got serious about MLM. But I hadn't quite become an all-out network marketing professional yet. I was still transitioning. So these are the answers that the speaker said. And even though it kind of surprised me at the time, knowing what I know now, 8 years later, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. So most of the top earners had been with their company at least 5 years. Many of them had been with their company more than 10 years. None of them had been with their company less than 5 years. So they had all basically picked a company, planted their roots, stuck with it for the long term. And another thing that was interesting is some of them said they didn't get off to a fast start. Some of them started as customers. Some of them struggled in the beginning. So they didn't all just go through the ranks quickly. Most of them did not. Next, most of the top earners had sponsored somewhere between 100 to 500 people during that 5 to 10 years. Now, if you're listening to this video or watching it, that sounds like a big number, 100 to 500 people. That's crazy. However, if you break down the math, considering these people had been in their company 5 to 10 years, if you do the math, most of these people, what they've averaged is about 2 to 4 new people a month personally enrolled. Now, that's manageable. That's doable even for a part-timer, 2 to 4 new personally sponsored people. If you're talking to 5 people a day, you should be able to make that happen. And then here was the most interesting thing. They said out of those 100 to 500 people that we sponsored, almost all of them made 80 to 90% of their income from 3 or fewer of those people. Some of them 2, and some of them made 80 to 90% of their income from 1 of those 100 to 500 people. Very interesting. You sponsored a lot of people, but you make most of your income from 1 to 3 of them. Just 1 to 3, and all of them, none of them had more than 3 big legs. None of them. Some of them had 1 big leg, some had 2, a couple of them had 3, but it was all between 1 and 3. So these are my takeaways from this training. Number 1, you got to pick a company and you got to stick with it at least 5 to 10 years. You got to give yourself time to succeed. It takes time to launch, grow, stabilize, build a successful business of any kind, not just a network marketing business. Number 2, you have to learn how to sponsor 2 to 4 new business builders per month. Now, we're not talking about customers. Yes, you need customers. You should maintain 10 customers at all times. But you have to learn how to find 2 to 4 people a month who raise their hand and they say, I want to do this as a business. From that, if you can do that every month, from that, after a period of maybe 5, at most 10 years or in between there, you're going to find 2 to 3 really serious people who are responsible for most of your income. Now, here's the cool thing. In most cases, those 2 to 3 serious people, they weren't from the people that you sponsored. They were someone that they sponsored, or someone that they sponsored, or someone that they sponsored. So these are the stats of the top earners on that stage, that day, at that event. Now, of course, individual results will vary. Your numbers could be better. Your numbers could be worse. But most of my 6 and 7 figure friends, when I've asked them these questions, they had the exact same answers. So are there exceptions to this rule? Sure, there are people who it took longer for them to be successful. There are other people who maybe they were one-hit wonders and they hit the ground running right out the gate and they had massive success in their first 6 months. But just know that's not the norm. There's exceptions to every rule. There's people who take longer, people who do it shorter. It's not really a comparison game, but this is a very realistic, doable thing, in my opinion, for anybody watching this video. If you're willing to stick with the company for 5 to 10 years, one company, not two, if you're willing to learn how to sign up 2 to 4 people per month, and if you're willing to give yourself enough time to let those 2 to 4 people per month add up to 100 to 500 total personally enrolled people, you're going to find the 2 or 3 legs in your business that generate 80 to 90% of your income. And it could even be one leg. That's how network marketing works, folks. Now you know. I hope you will take this information. This is not business advice. Like I said earlier, there are exceptions to every rule. I'm not guaranteeing you are going to achieve all of these things. You might do it better. You might be slower. Who knows? But this is what it takes to build a big team. You got to plant your flag. You got to sponsor new people every month. You got to show up every day, and you got to do it for more than a month. You got to do it for several years with one company. Now, I hope you got some value from today's training. If you could like, comment, share, and subscribe, that'll help our channel out a lot. Don't forget to check out the links and the resources in the description box below this video. I try to post a new video almost every day, so please check back often. And with that, I hope you have a great day. Thanks again for watching. See you at the top.